We move on to our next news. President Donald Trump has said that Washington, D.C. will be liberated from crime and homelessness in Truth Social post. He vowed a sweeping crackdown citing recent assaults and viral crime videos. The Democratic mayor, Muriel Bowser, says violent crime is at a 30-year low, down 26% this year. Trump praised Bowser personally, but said she failed to fix the problem. He's considering deploying hundreds of National Guard troops, with their roles still under discussion. Federal officers from more than a dozen agencies are already in the city. President Trump also wants swift evictions of homeless residents and has hinted at a federal takeover. President Donald Trump says Washington, D.C. will be liberated from crime and homelessness in his Truth Social post. He vowed a sweeping crackdown citing recent assaults and viral crime videos. For this discussion, we are joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical analyst, joins us live from London. Thank you, Mark, for joining us today. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, President Trump has promised to liberate Washington, D.C. from crime as well as homelessness, while Mayor Bowser says something else. So how do you assess the tension between these two perspectives, and what does this say about, again, a political divide in U.S.?
I think we have to remember that President Trump, one of his dear friends, is the ex-mayor of New York, Mayor Giuliani. And we remembered that a number of years ago when crime in New York was off the charts, and Giuliani came in. Every time there was a smashed window, he would make sure it was repaired, e.g. dealing with all the little things that eventually brought the crime rate and the murder rate in New York down considerably. And I believe that President Trump will have that in his mind as well. He has been asking ICE, the border department, to deal with all the illegal immigration, and at times in various parts of America, that has then brought a rise in crime as well. That is what is going through Trump's mind in regard to this, of how people view law enforcement, and he is someone that very much passionate.
Sorry, Mark. U.S. President Donald Trump has started speaking in a press conference. That was Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical analyst.
Look at the border.
Thank you for joining.
Biden said there's nothing you can do. Kamala was the border czar. She never called one of the Border Patrol agents who are great. ICE is great. Never spoke to anybody. Never went there. But she was the border czar. And everybody said it was impossible to fix. I fixed it in 3 months. No, really. I fixed it the first week, but really fixed it over the last couple of months. And I mean, literally to a point where, as I said, 0 illegals entering our country in the last 90 days. Pretty amazing. It's time for dramatic action. We're going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be a very safe city very soon. We're not looking to take years, because a lot of people die in years. And we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. You know, a lot of nations, they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police. They don't have DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security. They got some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests, and that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come and then they get mugged. Not going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designer said, well, we need a 1/4 of an inch more turn for safety reasons. No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly. So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people are the ones that want to help you. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so happy because you'll be safe. When you walk down the street, you're going to see police, or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the street. You're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed. By the way, we're going to have National Guard, but Pete Hegseth will tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, "Oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in." It's been used many times over the years. I don't think we'll need it. I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them, are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough. But we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, you know. They're not going to be your local school teacher. Look at this guy. He has killed people numerous times. They're not going to be an asset. They will never be an asset to society. I don't care. I know we all want to say, oh, they're going to be rehabbed. It's not going to be rehabbed. I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to come up and say a couple of words because he's in charge, as you know. He's Interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the U.S. Park Police, this is the oldest federal police force in the nation. They were formed in 1791 by none other than President George Washington. They've got the awesome responsibility of protecting our nation's most sacred monuments. The National Mall, Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln.
Now we are joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a political geopolitical commentator, joins us live from London. Thank you, Mark, for staying with us, and sorry for the earlier interruption of the live. So now that President Trump has also indicated that he even might deploy military in this situation, and stating that homeless people are kind of, in his words, useless. They will not be useful for the society. What's your reaction to these comments?
Trump has always been consistent. He has always said this. He said it coming up and leading to his second administration. He turned around and said that he will deal with the problems on the border, Texas and Mexico, on the southern border. We have to remember in context that the numbers that have come over that border illegally over the last 4 years under the previous administration of Joe Biden and an auto pen, the issue is this. Is that was there 11 million people coming over that border? Was there far more? This is illegal. He feels that this has a huge effect on the United States of America and on the civil aspects and the whole thing of keeping society together. He has always been, as I was just saying before he spoke, always strong on law and order, and values the fabric of civil society very much. And remember, in his previous administration, we saw BLM riots, etc., Antifa on the streets, and the damage that were done. And there were many fires, many riots that were going on, which is something that President Trump disagreed with profoundly, because he wants order and he wants people to be able to go about their business, etc., and live the American dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and does not want anarchy. So, in regard to the homelessness, it's of course it's difficult. We look at what's been happening in California, etc. So he is going in there to tidy it up, and of course, to some people, this looks awful. This looks absolutely awful, etc., etc. But he passionately believes, as I say, in law and order. But also, is then looking up and saying, "Well, this is Washington D.C. This is our capital. I want to clean it up. I want it to look good around the world. I want tourists to be able to come here and feel safe, and whether they're American or whether they are then foreign, for people to then enjoy." Asuma.
And Mark, thank you for sharing that. I would like to also go back to our earlier discussions, questions, since we cut to the live. What's your take on the division between this, the two perspectives and the tension in U.S.?
Well, that tension was there on January the 6th, 2021. So that it doesn't surprise me that certain things are then repeated. If Mayor says, "Well, we've got under that whole thing under control." Remember, on that day and leading up to that, it actually asked for the National Guard to be deployed, and Pelosi then say no. There is a huge, if you're talking about the whole of the United States politically, of course, there is a huge divide, and there is a real concern where many of these illegal immigrants that have come over, are they agitators within the country? And I would say, with some of the people that I talk to over there and know personally, that is also a concern. Yes, because they do not have positive things for the United States of America. They have ill, and the other thing is, it's an ideological battle between those people, I have to say it, who believe in a socialist communist mindset, and those people that believe in capitalism, and coming back to that phrase earlier of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and what people profoundly believe is the American dream, and what it actually stands for, instead of, and he is profoundly, like many other people, are against people having the riots that they saw a number of years ago, and also where he promised his base, we are going to arrest people, and if they do not have a right to be here, we are going to then deport them. And that is what is playing out, and this is what he promised his voter base, Asuma.
Thank you very much, Mark Sutherland, for always joining us and sharing your